to listen. What I think is the core of good listening skills is playfulness. So good listening skills, that's when you open up a space where the interpretation isn't based on previous interpretation. You must listen to what the person is really saying, but you must also, and this is most important, you must open up a space where it is possible to say new things, where it is possible to use the words, the phrases, the interaction to say new things and to be something new. Hi, I'm Cecilia Elise Wallin from Inventicity, the channel where we combine inventiveness and felicity. And the topic for this video is how to listen. There are a lot of videos about how to listen, and of course a tremendous lot of books, but I am missing something in those books and videos and in most advice about how to listen. So we can learn a lot about how to listen actively and to listen to everything the person is saying, listening till the end and really responding to what the person is saying. We must listen to what is said between the lines. We must listen to what the person not is saying. We must listen to what the people we are listening to might not want to tell. We must listen to their emotions, how they feel about what they are talking about. All this is good, but I want to dig deeper and I want to talk about something much, much more important, something that is essential to what I think is the core of listening, the core of human interaction, so much more important than these superficial things. And when we learn about how to listen and when we learn to listen to what is said between the lines and what is not outspoken, then we are so easily fooled, because most of us are great storytellers. We listen to a lot of audiobooks, we read a lot of books, we watch a lot of movies, and we have practiced writing fiction a lot in school and maybe as adults as well. So we are so good at telling stories, using what is not written or said but which is said between the lines, and that skill can of course be used to fool the listener. So as a listener you might think, aha, I can see this behind what is said, but you might be so fooled. So what I want to talk about and what I find tremendously important when we communicate and in a dialogue and when we listen is that we are aware of the history of the language we are using, the history of the words themselves, of course, but also the culture, the way of interpreting meaning in sentences and in interactions, because we so easily get stuck in certain interpretations. What I think is the core of good listening skills, and this is not often said, what I think is the core of good listening skills is playfulness. So good listening skills, that's when you open up a space where the words mustn't have their original meaning, where the interpretation isn't based on previous interpretation. You must listen to what the person is really saying, but you must also, and this is most important, you must open up a space where it is possible to say new things, where it is possible to use the words, the phrases, the interaction to say new things and to be something new. And to do this, you must completely get rid of the preconceptions you have of the person you are talking to and the language, the words, the phrases, the way of speaking she or he is using. That's the core of good listening and good communication. You must get rid of all preconceptions and make it possible to use the words and phrases, what is said in new ways. So communication is not only about to communicate something from the past. Communication must be an act of saying something new and being something new. That's what I think is most important when you listen. To be a good listener is to make it possible to invent new ways of using the words we have, and to make it possible to invent new words and new interpretations of words and phrases, and to invent ourselves again, to reinvent ourselves. That's a good dialogue, that's a good communication. So good listening and good communication, it's like when children are playing. It must be playful, and you must be kind. You must be genuinely kind to the person you are listening to, and make it possible for the person you are listening to be what she or he really wants to be, and make it possible for the person you are listening to invent new things and say new things and be what she or he wants to be. So you must make it possible for the person you are listening to invent new things, to say new things, and not have any preconceptions that limit what she or he is saying and communicating. And hopefully, if you do this, if you are such a playful listener, then hopefully this will spread so that the person listening to you will do the same favor to you. That's my best advice for being a good listener, and there are not many videos and books and articles about this, so I wanted to get this out, and I will make more videos about listening and speaking soon, so stay tuned. See ya!